Hello everyone, Jewel here. This time, I want to share some of my best PC open world RPG games that I think should be played in 2022. After quite some time, finally I have the opportunity to redo my open world RPG games list, and hopefully some of the games will be a good addition to your library. Alright then, let's get started. Final Fantasy XV looks outstanding, and graphic-wise, it's possibly one of the best Final Fantasy on that aspect. The game is a bit experimental and probably one of the most polarizing entries in the franchise. It has many flaws in its story that hinders the enjoyment of the game, but despite all of that, the gameplay is actually pretty good and combat feels solid. You have a huge world to explore with your party with a bunch of activities and epic boss fights to take on. Even with some of its faults, Final Fantasy XV still delivers an enjoyable Final Fantasy experience.
You just killed yourself, Adki.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a truly authentic Viking experience, and quite possibly the best and most complete Assassin's Creed game in the recent entries. Assassin's Creed Valhalla provides a gorgeous playground to explore, combined with excellent combat mechanics. Though the story is not the best, but it's still a fun Viking tale mixed with the serious lore and sci-fi elements. Overall, if you love open-world RPG games, then this game is absolutely deserve a try. Middle-earth Shadow of War is pretty much like its first game, but with more of everything. It's more ambitious, better graphics, and the combat system is both fluid and entertaining. The game does stumble into a bit of a grind in the latter part of the game, but nevertheless, it is still an enjoyable RPG experience. The Outer World demands players put in the time and effort if they want the best it has to offer. It's a top-notch RPG with heavy consequences at almost every turn for those that are willing to immerse themselves. The game seems to be inspired by the Fallout series, but this brand new franchise actually can stand on its own 2 feet. With a complete universe full of memorable characters, interesting stories, beautiful environment, and spicy choices, this is a must-have for any open-world fans. Dragon Age Inquisition is the best installment in this series, and one of the best games in BioWare's history. There's a lot to praise here, an interesting story, cool characters, and obviously its beautiful world. For people looking to get lost in a detailed world brimming with political intrigue, warring factions, tough choices that affect the story, and good amount of replayability, Dragon Age Inquisition is a must-buy. Dragon's Dogma was one of the best open-world RPG game of the past few years, and you should play this remaster if you miss it. Even though the spectacular combat in Dragon's Dogma makes it seem like a successor to other Capcom fantasy beat-em-ups, the attention to detail of its world design and surprising story twists make it one of the more fascinating games of its era. Many will agree that this is one of the best open-world RPGs in the last several years, so if you haven't played yet, please make sure to check it out. Borderlands 3 has surpassed the bar that its predecessor had set. The story is grand in scale, the humor is on point, weapons are diverse, and the new Vault Hunters are unique in every way. Not only that, the battles are also intense and tricky, and the multiple open world are beautiful and full of challenging missions. It might not be the most innovative game out there, but Borderlands 3 is a total must-have for any looter shooter and open world RPG fans. Fallout 4 makes you say goodbye to the rest of the world and immerse yourself in its universe for hours and hours. The fact that it's heavier on combat than stats is sure to annoy RPG enthusiasts, but the fact that the combat is fantastic helps a lot. With its vast open world and its endless possibilities, Fallout 4 is a must-have for RPG fans. In February 2022, CD Projekt released a substantial patch for Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt has overhauled some part of nearly every game system in Cyberpunk 2077, from combat AI to player stat functions to the economy to the way that vehicles work. In short, Cyberpunk 2077 is now a pretty good game. If you have been curious about this game, then this is probably the right time.
Drop your weapon! Drop it now!
This is your...
If you have never played NieR Automata, this package is the perfect way to experience this bizarre and haunting masterpiece. NieR Automata remains one of the greatest games of this generation, if not of all time. It has a fresh, beautiful, and highly entertaining journey full of nutty ideas and awesome gameplay. And with all of the game's content available in one complete package, there's no excuse to not check it out now. Horizon Zero Dawn is a perfect proof that if you give developers creative freedom and time, it will get you a sweet reward. It combines a gripping narrative with intense action that blends both fast-paced combat with stealth sections perfectly. It builds on elements of open world with loot and craft gameplay, but it does so with a setting and style that feel fresh. The game also features top-notch graphical work, a unique and enjoyable soundtrack, alongside a fantastic cast to make an unforgettable experience. Dragon Quest XI's Definitive Edition will make you reapproach how you feel not just past Dragon Quest games, but every RPG you play from now on. The visuals technically aren't as nice as they were in the original since it is based on a Switch release, but personally it doesn't feel like a problem at all. Not only does the new content and improvements invalidate the original game, but the visuals no longer feel like a noticeable downgrade thanks to an increase in resolution. If you have never played a Dragon Quest game before, then Dragon Quest XI's Definitive Edition is probably the best introduction to the series you could ask for. Skyrim is the best open-world RPG you can get. It is a true evolution of the genre at the time. Even though the game is not flawless, but it is still the game you love to live in. You will have to spend dozens of hours to fully explore Skyrim. Like any other Bethesda game, it has its share of imperfections and broken promises, but it's exciting and fascinating nevertheless. If you haven't played this game, then probably you just hate open-world RPG in general. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a thoughtful, diverse, and exciting adventure. Its stories are deep and satisfying, unafraid to touch on themes of personal characters, presenting players with choices and consequences. The amount of quality content we find in The Witcher 3 is outstanding. It is true that there are some aspects with some room for improvement, but nevertheless it still delivers such a rich and unique universe that you will not soon forget. Elden Ring is not only the best game From Software has released to date, but it's also one of the best open-world games I've enjoyed in recent years. It's all terrifically done, especially when coupled with a story which is full of mystery and interesting lore. Elden Ring gets the little things right as well. The music that makes your journey is some of the best in gaming. The game takes the overused open-world formula and flips it with a focus on exploration and freedom. I know it's still too early to say this, but Elden Ring is probably the best contender for Game of the Year in 2022. Alright boys, I think that's it for today. I'm pretty sure that there are other good PC open world RPG games that I haven't mentioned yet. So how about sharing your best open world RPG games that probably deserve a spot in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss another grad list. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Peace.